Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 203. We're a podcast that talks about pop culture, things that interest us. And sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John, and I'm joined as always by Andrea. How's it going?
I'm hanging in there. I feel like I feel like the equipment you can see in my background here is very appropriate for me. Because we have the addition of a lovely wheelchair tonight, and maybe I'll need to use it tomorrow. Because I just keep getting myself injured in the sports ball.
hmm I just look at it as good shin conditioning. That's what made me think of
There
the
you
martial
go.
arts gym. Like when you press, like,
There
oh,
you
that's,
go.
that's great. It's gonna toughen it up.
Yep.
So
Positivity. I like that. That's a positive spin versus my
yes.
wheelchair comment. So
hmm
yeah. Yeah.
Well, we'll see if tonight if we have a positive spin on some James Bond content. Kind of working
Indeed.
our way through the James Bond novels, and we're taking our time with the short stories, covering them
Hmm.
typically individually. But you brought up a little nugget of information that I was completely
Yeah.
unaware of. That For Your Eyes Only, the short story, and um, Risico. Am
Hmm.
I saying that? Yeah, is
It's a made up word, so you can say it however you want.
well, isn't it? I mean, I looked it up and it was basically Risk, which I
Well,
figured.
yeah,
But yeah.
right. It's risk with like a heavy accent, so however you want to do it.
Mhm. And those two stories kind of come together to form the movie For Your Eyes Only.
Hmm.
So glad you brought that up so we could read both those short stories, talk about them and the movie For Your Eyes Only, because
Hmm.
would have been a surprise to me for sure. If we go and read
Yeah,
the short story For Your Eyes Only and talk about the movie, and then we move a couple stories ahead, and then wait a minute here.
right. Yeah, it's not a natural pairing, um, to kind of combine these two short stories into a movie. And it's like you say, they're not even next to each other in the Bond collection of short stories. So like there's no reason you'd be like read one and the other and be like, oh, I could smash these together for a movie.
Yeah,
So yeah. So it's totally random. There's totally just like random bits and elements clearly taken from each of them, but not hewing too closely to either story. So I don't know who, where, what, and why it came together to make the James Bond movie For Your Eyes Only off of these two stories, but it's interesting to say the least.
sure. Well, we're going to get into that after a little bit. Before that, we'll talk a little other Bond stuff, perhaps what we've been watching over the course of the
Mm,
week or a couple weeks. And
yeah.
then kicking things off, really, we should talk about our drink holidays.
Yeah, I feel like basically going to cover almost the entirety of May. We're going to go back a little bit because it's kind of been a couple weeks since we've had the pod. So
Mhm.
I'll just grab a couple that we missed. I really felt like I couldn't ignore May 16th was World Whiskey Day. And, this kind of started off as the podcast where sometimes there's whiskey.
Right.
So I couldn't not give it that shout out. So but yeah,
Yeah.
moving all the way back to drink holidays that we didn't quite cover from the last pod. May 7th, it was opposite day, apparently. It's Cosmo Day and Homebrew Day, which could not be more different of drinks, but something for everybody there, maybe.
Yeah, is
Um,
that the like wives go out with their girlfriends and the guys?
right?
Is that
It
that's kind of
feels
stereotypical sort of thing? You just
right. It feels like the marriage of like Barbenheimer. Do you remember that? The movie
you're
Barbie and
right.
the
Yeah.
movie Oppenheimer. It feels like that. It feels like that, but in drink
Mhm,
versions.
mhm.
So yeah. But yeah, then moving on, we have a little bit more of generic holidays. We have Moscato Day on the 9th. The 13th, just a short week ago, it was World Cocktail Day. So choose your own adventure there. And then, like I said, on the 16th, it was World Whiskey Day, but it was also National Mimosa Day. So, take you through the whole day of drinking if you want, day to night.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, I thought we were going to do the pod yesterday, and then we shifted. But yesterday, the 19th, it was Chardonnay Day. And then finally looking ahead to close out the month on the 25th, just a couple of days away over Memorial Day weekend, it is World Wine Day. And then finally on the 30th, it is Mint Julep Day, which
Nice.
completely missed the Kentucky Derby this year. So
I know. I was confused by that too. So
I know. I don't get it, but whatever.
yeah, they're like, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get our second day in here. Really, like we'll have an official
Right.
day here. We
Circle it back
know it's
around.
that other day, but that's just we'll get to it
Right.
in here.
Right.
So, well, let me guess that you are to unwind and like relax the nerves of the shin damage. You are celebrating World Wine Day. Oh no!
Nope.
Well,
It would have been my go-to.
okay.
That would have
All
been my
right.
go-to. But there's a very specific other holiday that I am celebrating for a very specific reason.
Okay. Well,
It has to do
I
with one
mean,
of our least favorite Bond passages, which went on forever and ever and ever in the books. And it was way too detailed. And it was set in New York at a hotel near a track.
okay. Well, so you're doing a mint julep then?
I am doing a mint julep.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
All right.
Yes. Very specific reason is that we were just at a wedding of one of Chris's coworkers, and before that, we were at her wedding shower, and it was Derby themed. And Chris was in
Mm.
charge of bringing all the fixings for a mint julep, so we have some left over.
Ah, perfect. Okay. Very nice.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
So I have a mint
Um,
julep, celebrating mint julep day, plus an oldie World Cocktail Day, because generic. Why not?
yes. Well, for me, you can't see what
There's-
again what's in this, but that makes it mysterious yet. Um, but I have, I think, a great drink that covers a lot of bases. So, one, it's celebrating World Whiskey Day, so we have that,
Perfect.
and it works for our podcast. So
Yep.
it's bourbon. I have bourbon in here, which
I
is
have bourbon too.
Go-to for
So
Bond.
here we go. Right. Yep.
Mhm. And then bourbon is also American, and there's actually a little bit that takes place in America in For Your Eyes Only novel or short story.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely
Yeah.
only the novel.
Yeah. And then so this drink is actually called, because I was wondering, it's like, oh, maybe there's something with maple syrup. And this is called the Bourbon Apparel Smash. And so it's got the
I think I've
apparel,
actually
which
heard
is
of that.
Italian.
Yeah.
So we spent plenty of time in Italy, and then we have as maple syrup in it. So we go into America via Canada, and
Yep, that's
For
true.
Your Eyes Only, and yeah, that's what we got. So we got kind of covered the bases, like countries we're
I like
in,
it.
Italy, and yeah. So and
Yeah, I
then
like
there's bitters in it as well. But
sure. I think I've either had that or seen a recipe for that before, because we have usually in the summer we have like a good fixins hanging around for an Aperol spritz. So I think I was like looking up
sure,
other things to do with it, and I think I saw that as well. So
that
well,
makes
good.
that makes
We have
perfect
similar
sense.
things going on tonight. Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, that's good.
Refreshing.
Oh boy,
Refreshing.
that's really good. I will say I should have said, I looked it up the other day because Bond said cheers in Greek, I
Yeah.
believe, in For Your Eyes Only, the movie. But he says, like, basically to your health. So specifically, and I had looked up the generic way to say it, and I forgot it now. So
Okay.
started rifling through my phone to find it again or look it up. I'm
Sure.
just go with cheers. But okay. Very good. Good job on the drink. Let's see. I just want to make sure also remind everybody to like, share, subscribe, all those things. We're live in a lot of
Yes,
places, so you can
please.
find us all over. In the last couple weeks, Andrea, been
Mhm.
watching much interesting or reading anything or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, for this pod, I got through um, the short stories For Your Eyes Only, and Risico, um, if that's how we're going to say it.
Risico.
Risico.
Yeah.
In this business, there is much Risico.
Yes.
I definitely, when spoiler alert, that was the opening line of Risico, and I was like, "Is this a drink? Like, is he talking about a drink?" Because
Mm,
I'm so used to Fleming describing all of the food and drink that they have, so I just sort of was like, "I don't know what these words are. Are they some form of alcohol?"
yes.
And then got through the rest of the book. It was like, I see, but. Yeah, so got through both of those. Plus, Chris and I watched For Your Eyes Only, the movie last night. Um,
Okay.
and got him back excited about Bond again, and he's ready to talk. Sorry, not Quantum of Solace, Casino Royale. Quantum of Solace is
Okay.
the book between
Yes.
For Your Eyes Only and Risico, which is so strange. But yeah, he's ready to talk Casino Royale for the anniversary whenever we want to.
Very
So
nice. Good.
yeah. So I feel like that would keep me busy enough. But other than that, I watched Alien Resurrection because it's like leaving HBO Max in a couple of days. So I was like, I got to get that in there.
Okay.
I did also see they have like a special version of Resurrection. And so I was like, oh, interesting. I wonder, how much time. It's like 7 minutes of difference. It's like nothing.
Oh,
Whereas like the third Alien is like over half an hour of, additional
yeah.
material. So I was just like, oh, interesting. That's hardly seems worth the bother, but
Right.
whatever.
Yep.
And then I flew through the Netflix series Running Point, seasons 1 through 2. It's a basketball comedy with Kate Hudson, who takes over as the owner of an NBA team, and struggles, workplace funniness ensues on the way to trying to win a basketball championship. So it was good. It was
Mine to
fluffy.
be Ted Lasso.
Yeah, it is. Actually, Chris described it as Netflix's answer to Ted Lasso.
Hmm.
Which it's nice and fluffy and all the fun things too, but Ted Lasso is just like too good for
Okay.
many shows. So, but it was still fun. It was a nice light thing to watch. And then not light things to watch. I got through another couple episodes. This should actually say 3, 4, and 5 of Daredevil,
Okay.
the second season. So it's picking up. It's picking up.
Okay.
So
I gotta get
yeah.
like motivated again to watch it. Just
Yeah, it's definitely one of those
discouraged.
things. It's hard to get back into. Like I really had to will myself to sit down for episode 4, because I think I did 2 and 3 pretty close together because they were sort of paired. But I had to kind of get myself back into gear for 4 after a break. But then I was really like, yeah, let's keep
Okay.
going.
I just think they really needed Born Again season 1 to hit hard
Hmm.
for to make up for that gap.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
needed to come back and people to be talking about it again. It's like Daredevil's back and it is awesome.
Hmm.
Like missed it, it's been gone, and it's
Yeah.
just like better than ever.
Yep.
And
And it didn't hit.
didn't have that. It's just ever since it's been like, maybe it should
Yep.
just stay on, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard because it's now that it rolled out the way that it did in season 1, it's always going to be plagued by what ifs. What if they'd
Yeah.
realized sooner, and what if they'd been able to salvage better storylines? What if they'd been able to totally, redo it and not have to cut in the already shot material? What if, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Hmm. Did you hear about slash are you interested in watching the Punisher special?
I did hear about it and I am interested in watching it. Yes.
Okay.
I've heard some very mixed things about it, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know that that dims, any potential viewing for me. But it's just
Mm,
interesting that it got so mixed because usually Punisher's been better received than that. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
but
I'm
yeah, I'll
glad
be watching it.
so far.
I feel like I accomplished a bunch. Obviously, I'll save this for the other podcast, but I've also been watching a bunch of anime. So busy, busy, busy.
Yeah. Very nice.
How
Yeah,
about
I've been,
you?
yeah, I've been pretty busy too. Mostly a lot, quite a bit of reading, like with the kids and stuff like that. But I think maybe I already mentioned I finished Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. If I didn't, I
Yes.
finished that, and it's very good. I highly recommend. And then I'm reading, like, when I was a kid, I had, so this Star Wars book is actually
Mm,
a collected version of three books.
yep.
And
I
I
remember
had,
this.
I think, two of them when I was young or whatever. And I only have one left now, whatever, but I bought this collected edition. And so
Cool.
it's, I, we've read, my kids and I, mostly my son and I, have read through the first of the three and are in the middle of the second one. So that's been fun, light,
Yeah.
Star Wars time. And yeah, I mean, that's basically, some other books, I guess, some more reading.
Well, you've been
The,
in the field, to be fair.
yeah, yeah,
It's
I
not
get,
exactly like you can put a TV in your tractor and be like, all right.
yep, yep. Yeah, Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe, finished that too with the kids then.
Nice.
Again, it was one of those things reading, it's like, oh, this is pretty dark. This is pretty dark, actually. I'm not sure if I should be reading this to you now, but um, yeah, got through that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
otherwise, yeah, it's been some anime as well. So talk
Sure.
about that stuff. And then I'm excited for the First Light, the new James Bond game that's coming.
Yes.
Like next
Yes.
week.
Yep.
Getting it day one, trying to save some money, but it is definitely on the list. Hoping to acquire sooner than later. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Early previews have been good. Um, yeah, but
Yes.
see much about this game at all? Really? Like the opening theme song, they did the video with it and the theme song by Lana Del Rey and David Arnold. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's been lots of previews and trailers.
Yeah. Like you said, overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
I have not really heard much in the negative, so that seems great.
Yeah. Um, I What do you think of, because the other news story now is that they're officially looking for a new Bond. They've
Saw that.
announced now, so like all the talk with all the other candidates before, we could just shove that aside because now they're actually looking, the people that are the decision. And um
Ugh.
firstly, do you have any different thoughts? Has anyone else come to mind? And have you looked at the First Light game enough that you would consider at all the actor that's in the game? I know I had brought that up some number of months ago, like they dare, get a
Yeah.
casting, be like, he should do it in the movie, he should be in the role too. He's so good at it. They're supposedly looking for a younger Bond.
Right, right. I remember that. I mean, I wouldn't say no to it, but I'd have I feel like a more sure-footed opinion after the game comes out.
Sure.
So I can like hear him and kind of, see him in a way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I wouldn't say no, but yeah, I'd love to get a feel for him.
I think to me, if egos, which I know it's a big ask, but if ego and the decision making process there can be set aside, if the game hits big, I don't know how you don't bring him in and consider it seriously. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do see that they are keeping some, previously released names on the short list. So yeah, it really just depends on whether this short list of, like bigger names is like an actual short list or it's, a distraction, throw you off the scent. It's,
Yeah.
whatever.
There's because the reality is there will be I've heard a lot of people in the Bond community say they got started with James Bond because of GoldenEye, the video game. Lots of
Right.
people of our
Right.
age is the thing. There was a gap where there wasn't a lot of Bond movies. Then it
Yep.
came back after Dalton, and so a lot of people that was a big deal. And I have no
Yep.
doubt there'll be a lot of people. They're coming in the right age. Haven't really seen Bond. It's not just really not.
Right.
And then this game comes along by a renowned developer, gets a lot of good buzz, and they try it, and this is going to be the James Bond to them. And if this
Right. 'Cause
game
it's gonna be the set.
is, and you're already looking, because it would be different if they had a different creative vision and they were looking for an older Bond or whatever, but if they want to do another origin sort of thing, I
Mhm.
know I can see them like stepping on feet because they want to do their own thing and they're going to tell their own origin story. And this game is telling an origin story. And I understand all that stuff. But Bond has never had this like, we must adhere to certain continuity and whatever.
Mhm.
We have
So true.
Judi Dench's M shows up with Brosnan, and then she sticks around through Craig, and everybody else
Right.
goes. Like it just does
Right.
not matter. So
Right. Yeah, the only thought hearing you kind of, lay that out, the only thought I have is if they keep the same actor, they can't do an origin story because then you're
mm,
just doing the game as a movie. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like if they keep the
different
same
origin
actor as a
story.
game, no,
Sure.
I don't think so. I think you need something a little bit more to differentiate it because then if you do an origin story and it's not like the game, people complain, and if you do an origin story and it's like the game, people will complain. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like on the one hand, people will be like, "Oh, it's different," but like I liked the game version better, or I liked the movie version better. Like, why would I play the? People have opposite opinions. But then if you do the same kind of story, people will be like, "Oh, well, why did you do the movie? I just played the game," or like, "Why did you?" So I think that's a trap if they keep the same actor that I would recommend avoiding and just do something different. I think you could keep the same actor and either completely divorce it from the game or you could make, one or two cheeky references to, some plot points that happen in the game as the origin story, but you're telling something a little farther down the line. Doesn't have to be massive, doesn't have to be like,
sure.
he's mid-career Bond, but maybe just a step further.
Yeah.
That'd be
So
my only reaction.
if the game really hits, I would be totally fine with them just like basically taking the cast from the game and putting them in the movie.
Yeah,
But
that's fine to me too.
if they want to make sure that people know that this is different enough, you can keep Bond and get rid of everybody else
Mm,
and you know recast them. Um, I think that what I want to see from a Bond movie, even if it is a younger Bond, I would like to see Bond that has his 00 status. He's a couple missions in, and we just get a mission. So it's not really about where he is in his development.
sure.
Whatever. It's just it's like these short stories we're getting with Bond
Yes.
now. It's just like where he is in his career, whatever, none of it matters.
Mhm.
It's just a short, here's the thing that's going
Yep.
on. We
Yep.
deal with it now. That's it.
I like
And
that. Yeah. Because usually I think in the short stories you maybe get like one or two references that are, like, oh, that, sometimes you'll get like remember the Jamaica case and you're like, oh yeah, like I did read that. But it doesn't mean anything to you in terms of like Bond is 67 cases into his career, or he's two cases.
yeah,
It's just you get some sort of orientation or reference, but you don't exactly know. And that's fine.
yep.
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Okay. Well, we'll see. All impressions is like I say, the game is, so far it's been good, and people have been
Mhm.
saying that this actor is doing a really great job, very charismatic, really kind of pulls off the like having fun with this sort of thing and the charm and everything. So if that it turns out to be the case, I put my name behind Patrick Gibson. Let's go. Let's do
Yeah.
it. And yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
So
fun. It'd be fun to see that transition
yeah.
from the game to the screen.
Very unique. hmm Okay. Well, speaking of transitions to screens and stuff. Oh yeah. What's this here is saying, yeah, just about Q and how it's like, yeah, been in
Yeah.
everyone. It's yeah, just continuity is just not a thing. And I think it's
Yeah.
best when they do that. When they do the Craig kind of they did this experiment, do a story arc thing with Daniel Craig. Let's not do it again. We did that.
Yep.
Let's go back.
It was interesting. It was
Yep.
fine most of the time. But
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
just yeah, like episodic
Yep.
stories.
Yep. Okay, well, the short stories in Bond are definitely episodic. We read two of them for this week's
Mhm.
conversation. For which, so again, this is very confusing, and you like you were clarifying in our text and stuff as well, because it's like the short story collection is called "For Your Eyes Only,"
Yes.
which I have two different copies here.
Yes.
But the short story in it, one of them is also called For Your Eyes Only. So we read
Yes.
that. And then we read Risico. We read that.
There you go.
So thanks
Yeah.
very much to your understanding that the two of those short stories are kind of compiled, Frankenstein together to base upon which the movie For Your Eyes Only is based.
Yes.
So I have to say, so I read For Your Eyes Only, and then I started Risico, and then I watched For Your Eyes Only, most of it, and then I finished Risico, and then I finished For Your Eyes Only, the movie. And in my mind was like, what is in what thing? What is happening? Like I was
I
getting
mean,
really
w-
confused.
we did very similar things, funnily enough. Yes, I read For Your Eyes Only, and then last night Chris and I, or before that, I had started Risico, but then Chris was like, "Oh yeah, I'll watch the movie with you." So I was like, "Great, we got to do it now." So I jumped on that and watched the movie, and then today finished Risico. So I also did a sort of word
Yes.
jumble of an order there. So yeah, so it's a little bit confusing, especially it's especially more confusing sometimes when you recognize something from the movie from the books, but then you do the other,
Yes.
and then when you do the opposite, you recognize something from the movie in the books. It's so
Yes.
weird.
So I have to say, what's your history with the movie For Your Eyes Only?
Yeah, I watched it way long ago, and I think I've watched it once since. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like it's it's
sure.
it's a solid film, and there's no reason I haven't, gone back to it. I think it's just sort of one that just drifted. I just didn't like think about
Yeah,
rewatching. I mean, it is a Roger Moore film, but it is one of the ones that I like most. It's like up there in my tier of Roger Moore
yeah.
films. But yeah, just like hadn't thought about it much.
Okay,
So I think I've watched it twice before I rewatched it last night.
all right. Well, I have a very different story with this movie. I guess I believe
Mm.
this is the first James Bond movie I ever saw. Um,
Whoa! No
yes, I actually
way.
have. Hold on, here I have something to show.
Show and tell. Show and tell. I like it. That's crazy.
So, we bought this, the VHS copy of For
Okay.
Your Eyes Only,
Uh-huh.
back way back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Love it. Oh
so,
my God. That's some memories right there. I just heard the
mhm.
sound of rewinding in my brain.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm not sure the year this was. Let's see. 1981
Hmm.
is that's what we got here. And yeah, I don't know what year we bought this exactly, but if my first Bond movie in the theater was Tomorrow Never Dies, but
Okay.
I
Yeah.
saw this at home
Hmm.
definitely before that. So that was 97. So I don't know if I saw this around when Goldeneye was coming out or something.
Sure.
um
Sure.
I do believe I saw Goldeneye before Tomorrow Never Dies, probably a home
Good.
video or whatever as well. But yeah, so this movie, I mean, like, Bond didn't have the same sort of impact on my life until later. Really, probably with
Yeah.
more with Goldeneye and Tomorrow Never Dies, and then even more with Casino Royale. But um, yeah, I've watched this movie a lot. I've seen this one many times. So it I saw this many times before I saw other Roger Moore movies. Before I saw how zany
I
those
was
can
gonna say,
be.
in some cases, that's a blessing, because the
So
director for this one, this was his first James Bond film, I believe, and then he went on to
okay,
do like Octopussy and one other one that I
John
cannot
Glenn. I
remember.
think he did Living
Yes,
Daylights then too.
yes, he did. Yes, yep. Thank you.
So he's
Oh, he started off
he
so well, and then Octopussy.
well, but what I think the deal is he is and I heard someone saying this before, like how they'd be surprised if under Eon, anyways, they would have hired someone like um what's his face? No, Christopher Nolan, because
Sure.
he kind of like wants to make his film and make a
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan film.
Yep.
Whereas like sometimes they hire directors, like I don't know the director what he did for Tomorrow Never Dies. I don't know. I don't know the director for a lot of these directors we don't know. They're not like big names. They are hired to make the film that they're putting together. So
Yeah.
Eon hires writers, and it's more about what the writers are putting together, and then you hire a director who's competent to shoot that movie.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, that's
Octopussy
the way it
is what it
used to be.
is. Yeah, I think that's what the Bond franchise historically did. And so I think John Glenn basically did his job. He did,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
I guess yeah, I shouldn't suggest that like Octopussy is all on him. I just mean like what a difference though
yes, no,
between
absolutely.
quality of films to like start off on For Your Eyes Only and then move to Octopussy because yeah, that woof is one
Well,
of the worst Bond films in my opinion and I think nobody's going to fight me super hard on that.
yeah, I don't know. Some people love it. Some people love it. So, maybe they
Find
have
me these
childhood
people.
memories attached. Yeah.
Find me these people.
Calvin Dyson, if I remember right, is a big, he's a big James Bond YouTuber. I think he loves Octopus. I know he loves
Mm.
Moonraker more, but they're out there. People are out
That's
there.
acceptable. That's acceptable. I mean, again, Moonraker is not my favorite, but more acceptable than
Mhm.
Octopussy.
Okay. Well, anyways, I have a long history with this movie. I watched it on
I love
DVD.
that.
I sadly don't have it on any other better format than that. I've got VHS and DVD.
Sure.
So,
I love
but
how they make Roger Moore look so much younger slash darker on the cover. Like, that does
yeah,
not even look like his hair,
yeah, it's true.
right?
They do some funny stuff with him sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so um I love it. I love this movie. I love Columbo in there. I always was
Mhm.
attracted to that character. I
Mhm.
love the music, the opening,
Mhm.
so I am a fan of this film.
Yep.
So call me biased from seeing it
Mhm.
as a young age, from a young age, but that's where I'm at with this. So I didn't need to rewatch this, for this, but at the same time, I'm shocked that like my mind just separated them so much. I was so ready for the short story and the movie to have nothing to do with one another that I just
Yeah.
like blanked out the similarities.
Mhm.
So Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's kind
So
of what's fun about like, reading them and then watching them close together because you find like random details or like even full lines. I felt like from the short story that just like popped up in there. I was like, "Ah,
yes.
hey, I really remember that."
Yep.
So,
hmm Okay. So we know we know you haven't seen this movie much. You're not a
yes.
Roger Moore Bond fan typically.
True.
This is
True.
higher on your list though for his
Yes.
films. The
Yes.
short stories. What did you
Mhm.
think of the short stories? So like,
Yeah.
was there a big difference in quality between the two that we had to break it down between them separately, heavily, or however you feel like you want to tackle these two,
Sure.
because they are quite
Sure.
separate as short stories.
They really are. Yeah, which is, again, makes it all the more amusing that somebody's brain put these two short stories into a movie and just sort of fashioned it together.
Yeah.
um I will say one thing I really thought about after reading the stories and then watching the movie is the setup to the mission is so different in each thing. Where For Your Eyes Only is like M being like, this is personal, this is some personal
Right.
business I need you to take
Yes.
care of here. And it's really uncomfortable, but like, this is my personal thing that you need to go and take care of. And James is like, I'm going to do it, but also like has flashes of, I'm really uncomfortable about just, exacting revenge here. But I'm still gonna do it. And then Risico starts off where M is super pissed that he has to send James Bond on a mission that he's like, I don't believe in this. This isn't my business. I hate it. Like, this should not be our department.
Right.
Bureaucracy. Don't get yourself killed because I'm going to be super mad. And I'm going to like, basically, I'm going to like bill it to another department if you do.
hmm
And I'm going to, raise heck. So that was really funny. And then in the film, M wasn't even there. It was like all these other like rando bureaucrats that were like, I'm stepping in and, I have to do the thing, James, and we need to recover the thing, James. So it was all very odd and different setups, kind of from our usual. M is like, calling James Bond in and we're kind of coming in the middle of, something, and M's got to get it off his chest and they have this like roundabout
Yeah.
conversation to get to the mission. So yeah, so really the setup and the background was the interesting differentiation for me.
Okay. Don't muck it up again, James. The
Right,
strange.
right. Ooh, yeah. I was like, what do you guys know? You pencil
Yeah.
pushers.
um. Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah,
hadn't.
like
I hadn't thought of
don't let the
that, but
bad guy get shot again, James. It's really terrible
yeah.
for us.
Yeah. So yeah, we would talk about. I mean, with these two short stories, I hadn't really thought of that setup, but it is pretty different. I like it. A little bit of
Yeah.
variety here. I did enjoy both the short stories quite a lot. Like they're still on a
Mhm.
really good streak with these.
Mhm.
Um, the opening of For Your Eyes Only, I think, is very tense, very well
Yep.
handled. And like, oh, these people are in trouble, type of situation.
Yes.
And I love the, I love the, I don't know, the detail, and again, the simplicity of this is
Mhm.
like, I have a contact. They're going to get you in. They're going to give you some stuff, but you don't say, our names
You
aren't
don't say
involved.
normal things.
Yep, yeah,
You have a
So they
whole
sort of
coded
supply him.
language.
They supply him with like a weapon, and the
Yep.
whole journey of like just tracking through the woods and the sort of detail of the sounds
Mhm.
and the different animals and the way the like
Yes.
it just like I feel like this is Bond as we don't typically see him in the movies.
Mhm. Yeah.
He's just in the
Normal.
wilderness, yeah, and like following a path and then stalking. He's like he's just equipped for the, he buys like meat and bread and stuff like that for this, and
Yeah,
this
coffee
like
and
three
whiskey. Yeah.
years, yeah, whiskey with a little coffee in it. Yep, commenting on the like soles of his shoes and how the military should
Yes.
have these, and
I loved that paragraph. It was so normal. It was so just, when you're alone and you have like these random thoughts that just jump in your head where you're like, I wonder about this thing, or man, these shoes feel really great. We should have these in England. And just
yeah,
like you said, I wonder if birds will ever stop being scared of men. He's
yeah.
like, we don't shoot birds anymore. We don't eat birds, but yet they're still afraid. Like, is there a day that they won't be freaked out by me walking through the woods? You know,
Mhm. Yeah,
it's not like glamorous spy thoughts. It's not, excitement and, oh, there are witticisms just floating through my head. It's very normal. It's very blah. And I
yep.
like it.
I can see this as an opening to a movie, like, but it's a little different than the normal hook of Bond that is like goes so fast. But if it
Hmm.
just like opened and is sort of silent, you just see a little bit from afar, going into a lodge, coming out with some stuff, driving his car away, and then
Right.
leaving it, then tracking through the woods. It's making it very like atmospheric. You get like the
Hmm.
mist woods and all the sort of thing. He's like in the tree looking out, and this whole thing, and then we kind of settle in as he gets to the bottom of the valley.
Hmm.
He's through, and it's like we know the tension is building here to whatever the mission is, whatever's going on, and then we can have this scenario play out and get messed up, and
Hmm.
that there's a loose end, and that compels the whole rest of the film after an
Right.
action and this guy gets away and the whole thing. It would be a very kind of, I don't know, it would be different, and but I just um I don't know, it set a good mood and tone, and
Hmm.
I liked it. It's good. It's great. And
Yeah.
the woman was a surprise. And then it's like, oh yes, okay, so here's the woman that's in the movie. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see a very watered down version of this in the movie, when he's going to the pool, but he's got to like park his
Yes.
car and like go through the forest and all of that. You see that, but it's just it's enough similar for you to recognize it, but it's dissimilar enough to be, found wanting in the sense of like what you're describing is a great, focused, careful, planned scene. And this felt a little more like a brief allusion
Yeah.
to something that happened. So, yeah.
Mhm. Um, and then the next story, uh, Risico,
Hmm.
Risico is again. I like your distinction of the opening here in the setup. It's like the PM says this is happening, so it's
Yep.
happening.
Got to do
um,
it. I hate it.
mhm. But
I loved the description of the ranking of like M's, you know, Furies. He's like, this one we know is this kind. Like M doesn't like this kind of stuff, but he recognizes
yeah,
that
yeah,
he has
yeah,
like very particular, opinions about blah blah blah, and it's so
yeah.
unusual for people to recognize that. Again, kind of brought that inner monologue, but
Yep.
also was interestingly focused around M. So that was fun.
He never trusts anyone that's completely bilingual.
Yes, weirdest details. The
Yes.
weirdest stuff. But yeah, I love that he's just like, well, at least he knows what he is.
Yeah. Yeah. This, had a lot more in common with the film than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Again, not
Hmm.
here, but really just like going over, having his contact, this guy that's in tight with um, secret services and has been given
Hmm.
information, gives information on a different guy that Bond is all in about, gets
Yep.
captured by this guy, finds out, hey, you guys have all been played a fool. Like,
Hmm.
yes, I do smuggling, but it's not drugs. I wouldn't do drugs.
Right.
And then helps them take the guy down that all
Hmm.
the head of state thought was their informant, whatever. And
Yeah.
it was cool because the way it's. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen there in the movie, but the way that we get to hear then Bond like reading Christatos, whatever, um,
Hmm.
as like he buys it. He respects
Yes.
this guy. He's having
Yeah.
like food with him and stuff, and he's like, I can see why this guy is used and like respected and all this sort of thing. And
Right.
then he, funnily enough, also had noticed Columbo and admired him, and
Right. He
for
was like, yeah, this
like
guy's cool.
nature. Yeah, and then it's like he should have trusted his gut there, but it was wrong with his, you know,
Right.
that's what he was told, that this is your guy. But he
Right.
was talking about how so often there's a communication between spies and it's clunky or obvious or whatever. And it was clear that this guy knew what he was doing,
Yep.
and even took a little longer, as it was clearly like a setup to do, I suppose, to make sure that Bond was on the right side and the right guy and all this sort of thing. So I thought that was all well done.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, and then, yeah, I was just shocked to see, like, yeah, there's like these paper things. They're going in, they're doing a little raid, like it's like a warehouse thing. It's just in the movie, there's an extra step where the guy's not just there; he's at the hideaway, high on the mountain thing.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting to see like what, kind of random details they kept and what sort of felt, I don't know, sometimes to me a little shoehorned in from the book. Um,
Okay.
just in the sense of like I don't know, or maybe it felt shoehorned because it could have been done, in place of other things in the movie. Um, like I was thinking about, the Countess, Liesel, and they had that whole
Hmm.
like fight scene with her and Columbo, and she's totally a plant, and everybody recognizes she's a plant, and stuff like that that happened, similar-ish between the book and
Yeah.
the movie. Um, but then, she faded in the movie plot more than I thought, she needed to, or in the book plot. You know what I mean? Like it was just like sometimes I didn't always see like where that needed to be necessary. Do you know what I mean? Like in the book, there was a very specific point about him trying to do things and like get the info, and it was less so in the movie because there
Y-
were like
y-
other things to
yes,
go on.
the
Where we
book
had
made
like we had
sense.
another Bond girl. Technically, we had BB Doll, the American skater that Chrysatos was. It was just like there's a lot happening in this movie that maybe we
Hmm.
could have, you know, after reading the book, stuck to some elements in there to simplify that down a little bit
Yeah.
and make it feel more impactful, like more of a point
Hmm.
to it.
Yeah, it would have been interesting maybe to have the little more drawn out with Liesel, because it was kind of interesting in the book where Bond is sort of set about town, so that if anyone is following him, they can see like, oh, this is a guy that's got some money. He is like bouncing around doing the things he would,
Right?
does a little
He
research,
plants his like
whatever.
identity.
And then in preparation to go and meet up with Liesel
Exactly.
and
So if
the
she asks
Countess.
around, like here he is
Hmm.
with his
Yeah.
So yeah, so they're meeting and her break from Columbo just like felt a little bit more intentional in the book, whereas like in the movie it was a little bit more like again, sort of like, hey, here's a nod to that scene in the book rather than like a fully
Mm.
fleshed out plot point.
Yeah. Well, like it's interesting how, in the movie yeah, she's clearly is playing a part for a while. And it's interesting how he says, "Oh, your accent's slipping." And then she's doing this silly like, "Whoops, me nighty."
Yeah, right? Like
It's
what was
like,
that for?
yeah, it was I don't know. I mean, I had fun with it, but yeah, but going back and forth between the book and this, yeah, it did make more sense, served better purpose, it felt like, or was more realistic, I guess, I suppose, in the book than in the film.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I don't
Mm.
mean to like nitpick because it didn't fully like, derail the movie for me or anything, but it just sometimes was like, oh, that's maybe a little missed opportunity now that I know the source material. So like a little
Right.
twinge of like, oh, that could have been a little better. It could have been a little more punched up to go in the plot. So
Yep. That's the line someone's got to use. Like if you're dating out there, you gotta be like, you're getting dropped off and be like, I've got wine and oysters in the fridge. Who can turn that down?
right,
Who can
like
turn that down?
clearly not Bond. I mean, even
Right.
the taxi driver was like, I mean, I'll wait for you to say your line, but obviously I'm getting out of here, pal.
Yep. Tywin Lannister is in this movie, which I
Yes,
never. This is the
which is
first time I watched
hilarious.
this movie that I've
Yeah,
known
no,
him and
Chris
recognized.
picked that up first too. And it's hilarious that we just watched obviously the third Alien movie in which he is also
Mm,
you
yeah,
know. So he's everywhere right now.
yeah, right. So yeah, ultimately, again, just these short stories. I really enjoy both of them. I thought they were
Yeah.
both a lot of fun. It was just getting a little confusing for me being in the middle of both the movie and the book at the
Yes.
same time.
Yes.
That was my fault, not those, not the content's fault here.
Yes.
A lo- it's just some other random things. I love the Lotus cars in
Yeah,
these
they're fun.
movies. I would very much like a Roger Moore era Lotus. Um, Not a fan of the watches. Typically, they went the digital sort of thing. There's a couple
Yeah.
that I still think look cool, but I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, they're cheaper
Roger Moore
looking.
is, yeah, yeah. Roger Moore has some like mixed looks in this. Some look a little too grandpa-y that you have to be kind of like really
Oh
fit
god, the
and whatever to
sweaters,
pull
man.
off. Yeah. And
The cardigan
some things really
sweaters.
worked. The suits worked,
Of course.
that's the thing, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And even I mean even some of his casual, like polos and linen pants get-ups are fine. Like he wears them well. It's not typically
Mhm.
what I think of when I think of Bond, but like he wore them well, but yeah, boy, the sweaters are a rough look, man. They really
Mhm.
age him hard and he does not
Yeah,
need that.
right. Yeah, see, it's not like Daniel Craig wearing a sweater as on a boat in the
Super
sea of,
different.
yeah, it's different. Mhm.
Roger Moore, for better or worse, just looks old. He just does.
Yeah.
It's not that, especially in this movie, it's not that the things he did were unbelievable or that, I thought like you're too old to be Bond, but his face just does look older. He
Mm.
doesn't look young. He doesn't, he's got wrinkles, he's got, laugh lines, he's got, expression lines. And so unfortunately, like you can't put him in certain clothing because it will just make him look more grandpa-y.
Yeah, right.
Like you're saying, like Daniel Craig could pull it off, or like, Pierce Brosnan in the early part of his Bond film career could pull things off because he looked young. Obviously, by Die Another Day, that's, a different story. But yeah.
I you're on about that yet. Andrea, you need to watch. I don't care if there's not an anniversary for this film. I don't know. You need to rewatch Die Another Day, Andrea, with a
No, I just mean like he looks very different in Die Another Day than he does in like Goldeneye. And
yeah,
I as a costumer would make different choices for that Bond versus the Goldeneye Bond to
sure.
to not to not like emphasize his age. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
If there's already like a chance that we're thinking like he's aged, I wouldn't do things like put him in, like the knit sweater. I wouldn't do it.
mhm. So you let me know, Andrea, when I cross over the point where I can't wear my sweaters anymore, all right? Like,
Well, am I
like,
putting you in front of a camera to be like, this is, a 30-year-old
yeah,
man who does his own fights and.
yeah, right. Well, you still let me know,
It's a
but
very it's a very distinguished look, and it's not like Roger Moore looked bad in his. I think, there was like a deep green sweater that I was like, "Oh, that's very nice." But it just like it doesn't help the age factor of Roger Moore.
yeah, yeah. it's interesting with fashion, like what the little differences can
Yep.
make.
Yep.
Sometimes it's just something that's a little more fitted, or it's pants that are a little more fitted and the top that's loose, and it's not all loose,
Right.
or it's something of a little different color.
Yep.
Sometimes like, oh, there's a little more color to it, so it looks a little less dull and nursing home like. Like
Right.
it's
Right. Or like the
if
fit
I'm
of a
just like
jacket.
I'm a beige, it's like,
Yep.
you know, it's yeah, like the subtle things can make a big difference sometimes with that.
Yeah, he had like a vest thing going on that I also was like, yeah, that works for you. It was more like an outdoorsy vest at one point, and I was like, sure, yeah, you know.
Yeah, and Peel, the company, makes a thing that's kind of like that look. I
Mm-hmm.
believe sort of a shirt from that you can,
Mm-hmm.
but um and then some of the pretentious, I mean, this is so Bond, but it feels a little bit much even for this. It's like uh Christados is saying, hey, that's, can we have a wine from where I was born or whatever, my region or something, my home
It's like
village.
no,
And Bond's like, it's a little too sensitive it's a little too sensitive in my palate. It's like,
yeah,
oh Jesus, like just take the
right.
wine from his
Let the
home here.
right, right. Let the guy have the wine, dude. A little rude. That honestly felt like an inner Bond thought from one of the short stories that they decided to make a line and they shouldn't have done it.
Sure. I mean, again, he's a man of particular taste. That's part of the point. But I just laughed I chuckled at that one. I thought it was a
Yeah,
little.
I did too.
Um, how about you build up some more muscle tone by putting on your clothes? I'll buy you an ice cream. It's the whole scene
Oh,
with Beat. I thought that was
oh
great.
my god. Yeah. She was a very I forgot how random she is in this movie. She really like serves almost zero purpose.
Yes, yes. I I don't know what it. I mean, there really isn't. I guess it's adding some sort of depth, like Christados cares about something else, and
But did he though? Like
I
she
don't
was very like, I know what you want. You want, and it didn't sound like just a gold medal, you
right. That's
know.
true. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it was, I don't know. It's such an odd addition. And I mean, I know like it's obviously very clear that it's for comedic relief.
Yes.
Um,
Right.
added comedic relief, but yeah, it's also just kind of odd.
I've always enjoyed the addition of it because I do laugh at it. I think it's fun. The
Yeah,
comic
it's not
relief works
bad.
for me, but it does not serve a lot outside of that. And
Yes.
it's partially funny because it's so sort of unbelievable. Like Roger Moore is a little older, and this, I don't know, 17-year-old, whatever whatever, somewhere
Right?
in that range, is like immediately attracted to. I mean, she's into older men. She was ready to be supported and whatever. I guess so. That's what
Yep.
she saw in Bond. But it's just kind of funny, and I know that to my understanding, even the lead Bond girl, she was a little like in press or whatever,
Mm.
felt a little like their age gap was a little much. So,
Yeah, I mean, it is good that like nothing comes of it. You know what I mean? Like that Bond 2
oh,
is
with
also like,
BB
"Oh,
and stuff, yeah,
yeah,
right,
exactly,
yeah,
yeah."
he's immediately, yeah,
Like, no, no, no. Because yeah, I think that's a little bit too far. Um, but yeah, she just doesn't serve a whole lot of plot point.
yep, yep. Um,
But she's funny and she's a good damsel in distress, as they're
mhm.
all in the clutches of Christados.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about the fashion. If more formal stuff is nice, casual stuff
Yeah.
not as nice. Mostly, love the cars. You know, what about our villain and the Bond girl then? So we got
Our
Christados.
our OG Bond girl,
Yeah,
Melina
original.
Havelock.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah, she's a
shares the
lot of
same name as the
fun.
books. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, one of them, yeah. Obviously they changed her to make her, her nationality different, which, is either like I don't know if they wanted to film in Greece and just wanted to,
Right.
find a way to shoehorn like a Greek heritage in there, so they could just like be with Christados and whatever, and kind of keep that simple. But I like her a lot. She's very smart. She's very determined. You know, um, she's got a lot of different skills. She clearly knows how to like, be a boss and run the boat and run the research. And I definitely like understand her anger and her passion to find, the people who killed her parents. So yeah, she's got a great story. I think it's well acted and she fits the part really well. It was a little disorienting, thinking about how I remembered her and then thinking about the book.
Mm.
Julie Havelock, who is like short, like blonde pixie cut hair, like just like okay, so you're saying that this person is this person? No. But yeah, in the movie I really liked her.
Mhm. But she sold to me the wild, like, to me, that was the impression I got in the book, is like her wild look, after
Yeah.
having spent as much time stalking and learning from her what her killer's schedule was and stuff and everything.
Yeah.
And so like
So
that sort of
intelligent.
wild look and like fire in her eyes and stuff really was
Mhm.
conveyed well to me. So
Yeah.
um, but more great stunts, ski stunts,
Mhm.
helicopter stunts, cars. It's all good. I think they really
Yeah.
like just
God,
it had to be a different standard. I think set by these films in like the 70s and 80s.
yeah, I loved the car stunt, particularly the car chase was quite excellent. I liked the ski as well, but I think I liked the car chase the most. I totally forgot the opening helicopter stunt. Do you know what I mean? That feels like
Mm,
such
yeah.
a different movie. By the end of the movie,
Yes.
I totally forgot that they were in the same film.
Because tonality, like with tonally, they're very different as well.
Mm, yes.
It sets up a film that might be more similar to some of the other Roger Moore films or whatever. You have the head of Spectre basically as kind of a Doctor Evil sort of thing. It's like it has that
He's
more
very
jokey thing. It's the voice
yeah.
of the thing, and then
He's very
and then
cartoonish. He's a
yeah,
caricature, not a character.
yep. And just like, okay, pokes the wheelchair, has him there, let me go, and drops him. It's like
We can
it's
make a
fun,
deal.
fun.
We can make a deal. Like, oh
Yeah,
god, that was terrible. That was so
but it's
terrible.
not the rest of the film. It's not
Yeah.
the rest of the.
Yep.
So it's interesting.
And
It starts as like he's at his wife's grave site, and then we jumps,
yes.
and then we get the rest of the movie.
Oh god, the first opening scene just like takes you on a journey because yeah, it starts off solemn and I was very like, oh man, I remember why I like this movie. There's gravitas, there's weight, there's emotion and Chris and I were immediately talking about, obviously the events that led up to, him by his wife's grave. And even, when he gets in the helicopter and he's like locked in and oh, emergency time, it's like, ooh, tense. This is good. I forgot, like, and then we just dive into the silliness, which,
Mhm.
takes the whole scene and just flips it. You're like, oh, I was really looking forward to the weight of this.
Yep.
And then the film turns it around again
Yep.
because it does get good.
And I think what do you think of the theme song and the opening and stuff like that?
I like the theme song. Um, it's a little more playful, but I think it marries the seriousness and the silliness of the film well. It's not like hmm, it's not too serious and it's not too like ridiculous. Some of the openings I just feel are like so wild and out there. But this one was kind of like firmly in the middle. It's a good
Okay.
it's a good song.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like the song is, pretty mellow but like emotional, and the title sequence
Mhm.
that goes with it is pretty
Mhm.
grounded. It's like
Yes.
mine was like, let's just have naked women underwater. Bring that back. It's simple. It's not, the whole thing isn't crazy. It's not, they're trying to
Mhm.
do all sorts of weird effects or anything like that. That's a
Yep.
little beyond time. And again, maybe it's my early exposure to this, but I just think it's solid opening. And yeah,
Mhm.
I think our villain is not the most amazing villain. Like, I love this actor,
Mhm.
but he's like better in Indiana Jones,
Mhm.
and Star Wars is small, but it's just not. It's not the most compelling, or you know, but he does
It's
what
fine.
he the role well, what he's
Yeah.
given, but you know, yeah. And
Yep.
then
It's fine.
the one other thing I'm thinking of is the boat dragged behind the boat thing. That was it from Live and Let Die, the book? I
I
keep
think
forgetting.
so. I
Okay, because
think
they're on the
so.
island and like
Yeah. I think so.
they're trying to
Yeah.
he's trying to like mines on the ships or
Yep.
something to a certain time, and then gets captured, and I think so.
Yeah, I liked that a lot, mostly.
Mhm.
There were a couple of moments where I was like, like you noted, like all the sharks are gonna go get that guy who isn't bleeding. It's yeah, like
Yeah.
it's a little ridiculous, a little convenient. But the premise of like dragging them behind the boat, that would be terrifying, and they'd sold that bit of it well. I don't know as a
Yep.
villain that like that would be my choice to end people and make sure that they were dead. But yeah, I mean it is definitely something that would be terrifying and very like throw your body into sort of this primal fight for survival because you're being dragged through the water. It's hard to breathe. You're up, you're down, you're twisted around. Like it's very disorienting and it's a very scary thing I would imagine to go through. So it's a definitely a good villain level move, but not great for like actually disposing of your enemies.
Sure. I mean, I thought it was kind of dragging over the sharp coral. It's shark infested. Like either drown or the sharks. They're shark bait. But
Hmm.
they don't want Bond's blood. It's not interested in
Yeah.
Bond's.
He's like, meh, this doesn't smell like the kind of blood I like. This
Yeah, this is a
is like a
bro.
B. This is a B negative. I want an A positive.
Right. Yep. Mhm. Okay.
Um, the one thing I want to mention, which made this movie extra fun, is obviously the monastery setting on the cliffs of
Mm,
Meteora, because that's where Chris just was um,
yeah.
on his
Right.
on his trip to
Forgot about
Greece. So yes, yes, immediately I was like, I was there for this.
that. Mhm.
Um,
Did you scale it just as Bond did?
obviously,
Yeah.
obviously.
Can't go there and not. Yeah.
Yes. And they totally let people do that. Just tourists
Mhm.
can just climb right up
Sign a waiver.
it. Sign the waiver. They promise really strong carabiners, they swear.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, so he obviously was like, oh, this was so cool and this was really fun. And, he got to tour the location. And so, he heard a little bit about like the filming process. Um, and he was saying that the monks who lived there were actually pretty upset at the filming because they didn't feel like they started off fine, but then they didn't feel like the filmmakers were really treating the place with enough reverence, so they allowed
Mm,
them to get like outside shots and take pictures of the interior, and then they were like, yep, beat it, you can't film inside anymore because we don't like you. So they had to like
wow.
build and recreate the interior looks.
Okay. Interesting. Hmm.
So
Well, a
yeah,
lot of films would do that
that's my
anyways. So, but yeah.
yeah, that was just my little like, contribution for
Yeah.
tidbit of trivia.
Yeah. I notated that I should have like probably watch this with commentary because I don't know that I have. I've seen it enough. Like it would be, I could have brought some extra facets to the
Yeah.
podcast. I
Yeah.
kind of been fun to see it. So yeah, but okay. Well, there we are. I don't know how, I think that maybe we should do our Casino Royale episode pretty soon to celebrate the
hmm
anniversary. And
Sure.
then do Quantum of Solace, the short story.
And the
being
movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
That works for me.
all right. We'll make
Maybe
sure
by then we'll have some Bond casting news at either one of those pods to talk about.
maybe. Yeah. Maybe at the
I don't
Quantum
know.
of Solace one. Yeah, we gotta do I gotta watch it so we can get to that. So maybe we do Alien, Casino Royale, something, Quantum of Solace. That'll
Works
set
for
us
me.
out a little bit of time. So it'll be
Yeah, it is.
there'll
It is, especially
be
when
more
we.
recorded rumors.
Yes, yeah, that will. I mean, especially because we flip off with, our anime podcast. So yeah, several weeks at
Yep.
least,
Yep.
bordering
So,
on months.
speaking of, the anime podcast. So again, this is Popcast on the Rocks, and basically you can find us on Popcast on the Rocks all over the place. Podcast directories included. I did a search for. I was looking for images for Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider,
Oh,
and our Ohio Anime logo showed up. In
yes,
and I clicked on where
love
that's
it.
from, whatever, and it was from some podcast directory I've never heard of. So
Okay,
again, like Spotify and because it used to be Anchor podcasts and then Spotify bought them and whatever. So that's what we use. And it distributes our podcast through a plethora of services.
I love
So,
it.
video versions available on Spotify. I think Apple Podcasts is doing this now too. So that might happen as soon as well or whatever. But anyways, Podcast on the Rocks on most things. If you,
Love
that
it.
will include this show and the show Ohio Anime, which we rotate each week to cover. If you want only the anime show on YouTube, we separate them. On YouTube, it's separate.
Mhm.
Podcast on the Rocks or Ohio Anime. It's supposed to help
Yep.
the algorithm. I don't know, whatever. There it is.
We do what
so-
we can do.
So next week should be an Ohio Anime, and I believe we'll be covering Hell's Paradise. Season 2, we're working our way through that. So we'll have
Yes.
kind of in the middle thereabouts that we'll be talking about. And
goodness.
yeah, and so then we'll come back to here and probably do Alien, and then we'll be back to that, probably to finish out Hell's Paradise or something.
Yeah.
I'm in free run as well.
Yes. Yes.
so we can-
yes.
We can talk about that before too long. Yeah. So those are some of the things that are coming our way. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe in all the applicable places. Killing the Flower wrote a theme song, Killing the Flower. You can find them on music streaming services. Mike Bryant Racing, check him out. He's had some more stuff for the summer for racing season. Peter J. Gilbertson, his books are on Amazon.com. They're all like super affordable. You can buy them Kindle editions or whatever, and they're fun, quick reads. I do recommend that you pick those up if you're interested in the kind of like horror, sci-fi things at all. So, yeah, that's about it, I think.
Good plugs.
Yeah.
Good plugs for good people.
Another successful, good, fun Bond podcast down. One day, and hopefully I'll have a review of the new game coming, and we'll have casting news to talk about and all that sort of thing. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, Bond's coming back around.
And then, so I'm going to reveal this to you right now. I'll reveal it because I finished my bourbon drink, my bourbon apparel, and I'm on to soju that I had somewhere.
I see it.
I'm feeling like revealing it. Someday we need to do a card opening stream for GoldenEye cards.
Oh, I love it so much, John.
So this is a sealed box so it's 8 cards per pack, 36 packs per box.
Oh my God, that's insane. But I love it so much. I cannot wait to find out what's in there.
So we, gotta
Anytime you
open
want. Anytime you want.
Okay. And we'll go through and just talk about. This would have been perfect for the anniversary of GoldenEye last year, but
Indeed.
instead of waiting on this for another 10 years,
No, God, no. You can't sit on that gold mine.
No. So we can just use it as another opportunity to talk about GoldenEye, which is a good film. So,
one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
So there's a tease for you all, and we'll leave it on that.
I love it.
Thank you, Andrew, for joining us. Thank you for me.
You and your cards.
Here now. Yeah. Yes. And
or deep cut reference to GoldenEye. Are you Giannis?
Right. Giannis or
the two-faced god.
00. Yeah.
Or 006. Yeah. Yeah. Deep cuts.
All right. See you all next time.
Sounds good. As always, cheers, everybody.